See the new Hogwarts games trailer? Oh no, I haven't. Let me watch that real quick. The new Hogwarts, the Harry Potter RPG game finally got a trailer today. I forgot there's a whole state of play. It's supposed to be 14 minutes of gameplay or something. Let's chill out and watch that for a minute here. Hey guys, it's Zenith Darksky here. I just wanted to stop real quick to tell you guys that don't know. This video is taken from one of my live streams, so that's why I seem like I'm talking to someone else and just randomly saying extra stuff besides the stuff involved in the trailer. So if you guys, don't like that, I apologize. I didn't want to re-record a reaction because it wouldn't be genuine. So this was my genuine reaction and breakdown. So here we go, guys. Thank you.
Need to update your malware byte pen.
I know, man. It keeps coming up, brother.
Need to update your malware byte pen.
I know, man. It keeps coming up, brother. I've seen the controversy about it having transgender as an option for your character. The controversy with that, Nikolai, not to bring it up, but to bring it up, is the controversy isn't that transgender is an option. The controversy is that J.K. Rowling doesn't like transgender people.
Yeah. And
is what is it called? A TERF. A trans something radical feminist. Yeah, that's the controversy, because J.K. Rowling, the creator and the writer of Harry Potter, doesn't agree with transgender. Like, it doesn't like that, basically. Not necessarily that she doesn't like it, but she's actively against it. That's the problem. It's not that she's like about it or anything, she just isn't for it at all.
What do you think you're doing here, humans?
Miniature reactor. Interesting.
I'm liking the magical beasts here that we're seeing all over this trailer. Graphics look great. Looks beautiful.
Legacy. You're a new student at the famed School of Witchcraft and Wizardry.
Hold on. So let me see because I'm curious if they pick your house for you, like after taking like a quiz kind of thing, like Mystery Dungeon maybe, or if you pick your own house. I think there's advantages to both, but we'll see.
You can study magic and begin to solve these mysteries, you must create the witch or wizard you want to be.
What's the group limit? 3?
When you arrive at Hogwarts, you will be sorted into one of the 4 Hogwarts houses: Gryffindor, Hufflepuff, Ravenclaw.
It just says you'll be sorted
After you settle into
into
your
one.
dormitory,
So
you will meet up with your housemates in the common room. You will then need to
the
attend
wording
classes,
implies you don't
as do
pick,
have
but
some catching up to do, as
we'll
you
see.
are starting Hogwarts late as a 5th year.
So you are the new student.
You'll begin your studies attending charms, defense against the
I can
dark
do jobs
arts,
now for
herbology,
Osiris.
and potions classes, to name a few.
Oh, hello, class. Please welcome the newest
Else
prince
for
in our
selling.
garden.
some of the facial animations aren't great, but
To year 5 of charms. Now, this will be a crucial year in your education.
that's not a deal breaker for me.
I am confident that we will take hold with the passion and rigor requisite of such a challenge.
The best way to practice is by dueling. We'll start with you two.
Time for a proper Hogwarts welcome.
So you do go to classes, and I assume you have like mini games or something probably for the
You
classes.
may begin.
Not bad for a beginner.
Potions is one of the most challenging and hazardous subjects taught at this school.
Here you'll meet your professors and learn to cast spells, grow magical plants, brew potions, and more. In between classes, you'll be able to explore the castle famous for its secrets, enchantments, and mysteries.
So I'm wondering if it's like, because it says in between classes you get to explore the castle, explore the campus and stuff, basically. I'm curious if it's like a timed thing, like where you just explore and then eventually because I know this isn't something that's been in games in a while, where like you do some stuff and it just automatically takes you to the next thing. eventually. Hasn't been in games in a while, but the studio that is developing this and why a lot of people are worried about this game, Portkey does mobile games. So I wonder how much freedom they allow you between the classes, like to where you can do whatever and run to the class whenever you want to, and like that's your main quest line is going through the classes until I assume something happens inevitably later and you stop going to class and start fighting or doing other stuff. But I wonder how much early exploration they allow.
You'll discover dungeons and secret passageways.
And that's something they've said before, and that they keep saying, you will discover dungeons. I wonder what kind, like, I know it's not MMO dungeons probably, but is it like dungeon crawler dungeons, like where there's some loot at the end, or is it just some cool little hidden Easter egg dungeons because it's Hogwarts, or, you know, I'm curious. For a single-player game, I would think the graphics would be a bit better. Studio has mostly done Disney games, and I've never heard of them. Yeah, they've done Disney and mobile games. The graphics aren't horrible. I think the graphics are actually really good, especially for this being their first, like, foray into something big and kind of AAA-ish.
Alrighty, I'm gonna take a break for a bit, bro.
Okay.
My back's hurting anyway, so it's a good opportunity.
Okay. It's pretty
You may even
pretty
find
cool how
yourself
you
in
do
iconic
that.
locations you've never been able to explore before. It's the late 1800s, so while the common rooms and classes may be familiar, most of your professors will not be. However, you may recognize a few faces.
Also, it says late 1800s. I wonder how they're going to deal with... There are characters that are referenced during... you know, in the Harry Potter movies and books and stuff like that. I'm not a big Harry Potter dude, you know, but I know there are characters and stuff that are referenced and everything, or seen even, or talked to, or maybe prominent characters. Basically, I wonder how they're going to handle things that are already canon and stuff that we already know.
Once Sir Patrick lets me join the Headless Hunt, I'll be right there with them. This offering is sure to win them over.
Don't forget why I'm here, sir.
You'll come to know this eclectic group of talented witches and wizards in class and while completing side assignments that are part of a special curriculum. One's designed to help you catch up with the other fifth years at your own speed.
Also, the beginning of the video looked worse. I don't know why. Mostly looks really good, though. Yeah, I think it looks really... Yeah, the beginning was a little rough.
In the area surrounding
There's probably some early footage that they used at the beginning.
You learn to master through your schoolwork.
Like, the environments are really pretty. It's mainly the animations and,
yet enigmatic
like facial animations especially.
If the rumors of a mounting goblin rebellion hold any weight, and if the safety of Hogwarts lies in the balance.
I have. Opinions differ as to how great a threat he really is.
Also, I'm curious, will there be a morality system? What if I want to help the goblins, you know? Are there going to be multiple endings? Like, obviously, the hero ending or the good ending, if there is, will probably be what's canon. But will I be able... What if I want to side with the goblins, or if I just want to be, you know, take things a more evil route? Because, and the reason I ask that is because J.K. Rowling, the setting is late 1800s, yeah. The reason I ask that is because, now J.K. Rowling has nothing to do with the game, she just gets royalties because it has to do with the wizarding world, but I know she is pretty controlling over her IP. So if she's super controlling over it, I would worry that that would mean that the game isn't going to give you the potential to kill enemies. It's just going to be like knocking enemies out and stuff like that. Zenith loves goblins. I love goblins, man. Not in Harry Potter, but in just general, I love goblins.
So much more than people realize.
The wizarding world of this era is fraught with dangers. Creatures corrupted.
See, there's
by a magical
some
force,
fighting some
powerful
goblins.
And sinister witches and wizards, all willing to fight, even kill.
See, they're talking about sinister witches and wizards. So that implies that you're a hero, there is no morality.
Alliance between the goblins and dark wizards.
You said you could get to the child when they came to Hogsmeade.
That all you needed was a distraction. I gave you a distraction.
I just watched a student take down your distraction. Who is this child? Are you not telling me?
But perhaps you shouldn't involve yourself with that just yet.
Let's go.
Also, with things like this, so what we could potentially be seeing here is a way to progress the game, and after you go through so many classes and stuff like that. But like right here, this isn't Reparo. Probably is not a spell that's gonna come that's gonna come in handy pretty much anywhere except for maybe accessing a couple areas, a couple levels that maybe you couldn't go to before. So there's going to be spells like that that are probably locked behind progression to where you won't be able to access stuff until later. That's not a bad thing, I just want to point out the mechanic that probably is lying underneath that.
Enemies possess unique defensive and offensive abilities, including blasting curses, stunning spells, enchanted weaponry, and more. While some may attack directly, others might enchant and incapacitate you. Mastery of the shield charm allows you to deflect ranged spells and direct weapon strikes.
I really like the diversity of the attacking spells, like the combat spells, though.
Extended spell combinations.
It looks like the combat can be pretty intricate.
Students who become particularly adept at spellcasting.
Also, I want to point out that you heard that one person do the Incendio spell to his left, and then he deflected it. Like, he just looked over and deflected it, but they didn't move the camera to do it. So I want to point out that I'm feeling like, at least when it comes to countering and parrying and stuff like that, there's either going to be an assigned, like, L2. We see a button prompt right there. So what I'm seeing here and what I was about to say is, I think the combat... Okay, that's nice. So there is a little bit of a morality system. Cool. What I'm understanding from the combat is looking a lot like a mix of like Batman Arkham combat, where, you know, if you stun an enemy, there's a button prompt to take them out in a certain way. There's probably a button prompt to deflect and parry and stuff like that. Other than that, it's probably just a few other buttons, maybe for spells or something like that. You know, the general combat, I don't know. The basic combat, like picking what spells to use, I don't know how they're going to decide that. But other than that, when it comes with actually interacting in a way with the enemies that you're fighting, it looks like a Batman Arkham, you know, Lord of the Rings, like Shadow of War, Shadow of Mordor type combat system.
Find many ways to exploit their enemy's weakness.
Oh, that wasn't a button prompt for the enemy. That's an environmental prompt back there. So maybe it doesn't have that combat, but I would assume it does at least for parrying and stuff like that. So those are environmental. Okay, so
Slam with
that's what the R1 prompt was for.
Roast with Incendio. Devastate your enemies using various finishes. You can even use mysterious, powerful magic your professors do not understand to obliterate your strongest
foes. Holy shit, dude. That was cool.
Mixing and matching dozens of spells will let you define your combat style. On your path to become the ultimate duelist.
Doesn't look like your allies doing too much back here. You're just generally standing around, but...
Be good enough to blast each other to pieces in your own time.
In addition
talents
to
and
classes
abilities.
And spells, you'll have access to a deep set of upgrades, talents, and skills.
Stealth,
to aid your
core.
as a wizard. Complete challenges.
Okay,
throughout.
hold on. Let's go back. Okay, Room of Requirement. These talents improve your abilities in the Room of Requirement. So that's probably like your abilities like training. It hasn't said anything about the Room of Requirement yet, but I just want to throw out there the idea that maybe that's like your hub, like your base area. because it shows a potion there, it shows a house elf there, but it also shows a plant in the background. So I'm kind of wondering if maybe I'd like to be a Slytherin dickhead if I can. So I'm wondering if maybe that's your base, because it said that you learn to make plants and potions and stuff. So I'm wondering if that's where your base is going to be, is in the room of requirement. That's what I'm understanding there. Stealth improves your abilities to sneak around, which we know what that means, obviously. Probably invisibility and some other stuff. And then core. These talents improve your overall effectiveness. And I think that's where it ends and goes to the next thing. Oh, we also look at the menu here. Character, collections, challenges, map, outpost, quests, settings.
Progression as a wizard.
Inventory. Now, I want to say outpost. That implies that maybe there is mail or something. So maybe there is some kind of a system where you find loot or something and send it to friends. Maybe. I don't know, though. That's just me assuming. That might just be where you're... No, there's quests. I was going to say that might be where your quests and stuff are, but I'm not sure. But then we have two other things here. Harry Potter, like, hardcore fans could probably tell me what those symbols mean in the universe, so that maybe we get an idea of what those are. This is stealth, room of requirement, core. This looks like he's got his wand up ready to fight, so maybe combat and maybe defense, maybe the other way around, I'm not sure.
Complete challenges to earn experience. Level up your abilities by choosing talents to upgrade your spells, plants, and potions to increase their power. Decide which.
So there is like stealth combat, like to
focus on your favorite types of magic.
To not get caught. There is a looting system. There is loot. He's about to mention it right here, but the square button said loot. Also, I want to go back when he knocked the guy out. So that's a petrify. So that's a stun, and then there's an interact button. I wonder what you would do to interact.
Which talents best fit your
if you can kill them after you stun them.
You can also loot, buy, or craft your
Tree looks familiar, but I have no idea. Yeah.
That will increase your offensive and defensive capabilities.
There is collecting materials and stuff.
Upgraded and specialized to allow for greater abilities for your.
This is probably the room of requirement here.
Chosen playstyle.
Use a strong, even motion when cutting your ingredients.
So there are little mini games for that kind of stuff.
Spells are not the only tools at your disposal in combat. As you hone your wand skills, you can continue to further your magical education at Hogwarts, progressing your development as a witch or wizard. Brew potions that can increase your power when you need a boost.
It's pretty sick. I do want to say I like that they're taking so many aspects of everything and throwing it into the game. Like, it's not just a game where the combat is all about the spells. Like, they're actually making the potions and stuff like that viable as well and usable as well, which, you know, is important in the Harry Potter universe. The potions and stuff, they can do crazy stuff too.
Deploy magical plants on the battlefield and keep your enemies at bay.
Oh, there's summons.
You can even unleash deadly mandrake seedlings to incapacitate unsuspecting enemies.
And you can use magical beasts, that's really cool, just because of the fact that now that we're getting into the Fantastic Beasts series and stuff like that, into the movies and stuff, you know, it's bringing the animals and the nature a little bit more into the forefront. It's pretty cool that they even make use of that in the game. Also make and improve NPC relationships.
Class, you will learn about a variety of magical beasts you might encounter, both at school and as you explore the world surrounding the castle and its grounds.
It's pretty sick, though.
The goal of today is to remind all of you.
Nice. You can ride your broomstick. It looks like it's.
Broom flight is highly recommended.
It looks like it's free roam.
The world more quickly.
Nice. So that's how you get around the world quick. I like that. That's cool. So it is going to be free roam, from what I can tell. At least to some extent.
As you develop relationships with these schoolmates, they can accompany you on your journey as your companions.
Okay, so this is what you were talking about.
And over time, you'll learn their stories.
This is our chance.
Natsai Onai is a brave adventurer driven by the justice she seeks. Poppy Sweeting has a kind heart and loves magical beasts, connecting with them more easily than with humans.
But what happens now?
Unafraid of detention or breaking the rules,
Sneaking in the restricted section again!
is Sebastian Sallow, a
Quick side note for all the Harry Potter gamers and fans out there, Sebastian Sallow is probably related to Albert Sallow, which is a character from another Harry Potter game, from Harry Potter Wizards Unite, which I believe is one of the mobile games. I thought I heard that name from somewhere, so I looked into it. But yeah, so if you guys know who he is, there you go. That's a pretty cool little Easter egg. He's probably of some relation there.
charismatic Slytherin
We've been over this, boy. Triple cannot reverse a curse.
with a troubling family secret.
Nothing can. The sooner you accept that reality, the better.
You'll meet these students and more as you explore common rooms, hallways between classes, and regular gathering areas.
Room of requirement. Okay, so it does look like it's probably going to be your base of operations. Yeah, 100%. Growing plants and stuff in there.
One of the most remarkable secrets of Hogwarts is known as the Room of Requirement.
Oh, you can kind of customize it. That's cool.
That seems to sense what you need and then provides it for you. Since you need to catch up to your peers, the room provides space for you to sow and harvest plants, brew potions, and upgrade your
I don't know
gear.
how I feel about it being timed. Because I do want to say, let's keep in mind, this is a company that's mainly worked on Disney games and mobile games. I worry that, like Ubisoft or something, with timed things like that, there might be some kind of a currency that you can buy. Some kind of currency that you can purchase and, you know, speed those times up. I mean, a lot of people might not have too much of a problem with that since it's just a single-player game and you're just paying to progress. But still a little... I know some people really shit on Ubisoft for that. Story isn't written by J.K. Rowling. Yeah, I know. She collabed to put some input. Yeah, she's not too attached to the game, but she still gets money from it because of Wizarding World, which is going to hurt the sales. That she even gets any money from it, because there are a lot of people real upset, because it's not like she just kind of, you know, she just doesn't care for transgender people. She is actively against transgender people. Like, actively against it. Like, it's one thing to just be unbothered by it or whatever you want to be, but she actively doesn't like it, and people don't want to give her any more money. You know, people don't like to spend money on things that will give her money. There's still a pretty big fan base that will, you know, that don't care and will play things and do things, you know. But I know it's gonna hurt the sales to an extent. There's gonna be people for sure that that don't want to give her money, and rightfully so. You know, I can't argue with it.
A house elf named Deke helps you discover vivariums that allow you to nurture your own menagerie
What
of
the
magical
fuck?
beasts.
What is it? Deke isn't sure. Only one way to find out.
You can freely customize this space to
Oh,
reflect your
nice!
personality and magical specialties.
That said rustic, so I wonder if you could go with a more modern house or older houses and stuff like that. That's pretty cool though. A little base of besides the base of operations, a little house and stuff.
Is available at Hogwarts. You'll want to visit the nearby wizarding village of Hogsmeade, where loads of shops
That's
and
cool that they
vendors
put
can provide you
Hogsmeade in
with the
there.
supplies you require. From potion ingredients and recipes to seeds for magical plants to all sorts of gear.
Nice. He said gear, not clothes. So that implies that all of that has a reason, a purpose.
And wizards, emboldened by the turmoil of the times, wander the village outskirts. You must avoid
Yeah, he said that earlier in the trailer.
As you explore, you'll find the world surrounding Hogwarts is alive with activity, wonders, and areas of unusual interest. As the school year progresses, dynamic seasons and climates will fill the sky with lightning or sunshine.
That's pretty
or
sick.
pack the ground with snow or rain. Unique
Okay.
wizarding hamlets pepper the countryside, each with vendors and residents who have stories to tell and missions with which they could use your assistance. Be on the lookout for enchanting magical puzzles that may very well have been designed by Merlin himself when he was a student at Hogwarts.
When he was I didn't know that.
Beasts roamed the lands outside the castle.
Keep in mind, I'm not someone... I've watched Harry Potter and tried to get into some of the lore and to some of the deeper lore and stuff, just because I've got a friend who's got a close personal attachment to Harry Potter and everything. So I try to kind of expand my knowledge into that world and everything a little bit. So I know some stuff, but I'm not 100%, you know, let's just keep in mind, I'm not the biggest genius when it comes to Harry Potter knowledge. So that is news to me that Merlin exists in this world and went to Hogwarts. Very interesting.
Walls. Some have been corrupted by a mysterious dark magic, while others are at risk of poachers and
Those
their
are sick.
traps. If you're feeling benevolent, you can rescue them and restore them to health in the Room of Requirement. But there are dangers beyond your understanding in the world as well.
That was cool.
Dungeons
And the
and
little
vaults hold
train,
perilous threats and
the bank,
also
goblin bank
important
train thing.
warlocks. Be careful where you choose to explore, as it may lead you down a darker path.
Oh!
Master...
Okay, now we're getting to that morality thing a little bit. Be careful where you explore, it may lead you down a darker path. He used Avada Kedavra right there, which is, for those that don't know, the killing curse. And that's a bad thing. That's a bad wizard thing. You don't use Avada Kedavra. Who's that in the Harry Potter? I know Jake's wife's a big Harry Potter buff. Dawson. That's what his channel was all about right now, is Fantastic Reddens and where to find them. It's a reference to the Fantastic Beasts name. Yeah, that's all his channel is right now, is Harry Potter stuff.
Spells. Befriend new allies. Journey across a land.
He's making a video on it tomorrow. I assumed he would.
Uncover ancient secrets. Combat mystical threats. Learn long forgotten mysteries. Become the witch or wizard you want to be as you leave your unique mark on the wizarding world. Here in Hogwarts Legacy.
I will become the Dark Lord. Now, I would bet that it doesn't. I would bet that it doesn't go so deep to let you be a dark, the Dark Lord or anything. I would imagine that it only goes about as deep as just the types of spells you use and stuff like that, and the way that other people interact with you. You know, they know that you use the killing curse or whatever, so they're just kind of like, eh.
Your first extended look at Hogwarts Legacy.
Thought they had to worry about Voldemort. Wait till I show up, he said, some magical beasts or mounts. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
Now let's hear from the real wizards and witches behind the game.
Okay. So here's what the actual developers have to say about some stuff.
The attention to detail and the passion and the love for this brand that the team has is astonishing.
Our team is so excited to take all of the love that they put into this as fans and give it to fans.
This is the game that they've dreamed of for 20 years.
Hey, that's good. Room requirement is an important secret of Hogwarts that helps player customize with their abilities. We'll have more details shared at a later time.
The lore
Yeah,
of
I
the
mean,
Wizarding World
it
is
showed us
already
pretty
so
much
rich,
everything we're gonna see.
And all we had to do was
about that.
harness those elements,
I would assume.
and build a game out of it.
The movies, the books, they all touched me in such a way. Like, it makes me want to go to experience Hogwarts. It makes me put in so much more detail into this game.
I love the detail, the concept art.
Anything we add or anything we play with or anything that we explore really feels authentic.
Bringing to life just the charm and the love, everything we have for the books, and then marrying that with the iconic experiences from the movies that fans will recognize is really just the perfect handshake between the two. Just the discovery of like seeing things portrayed for the first time. Maybe they've read something and had a picture in their head the whole time, but then finally to get to touch it, to walk around it.
You've got all these elements that can come together to create this amazing AAA open world action RPG.
when it comes to the open world, we just knew it wasn't going to be enough to just stare out of the windows of Hogwarts and wonder what it's like out there. But the final question that fans ask is, what's beyond that? What's beyond the Forbidden Forest? What's going to be beyond Hogsmeade? What's beyond the Black Lake if I start traveling south? And we just felt like we had to answer.
So it's going to be pretty big, it seemed, well, decently big. Not all of those things are super far away from Hogwarts necessarily, but seems like it's going to be pretty decent size and everything. Because you're going beyond, all of these areas here to talk about Hogsmeade and stuff. So to go to those places is one thing, but beyond, like, further than those places, that's pretty interesting. Being solo, there will more than likely be a huge modding community for it. On PC probably, but it's on a PlayStation State of Play. So I would wager that it's going to be a timed exclusive, but I don't know.
Questions. We're creating a real wide palette of opportunities and ways to explore the world. You're going to see different stories that are really exclusive to who you were.
I wonder if you can get different
Hogwarts
broomsticks
Legacy
and shit.
is an original story that takes place in the late 1800s.
You are a new student who is starting at the famed School of Witchcraft and Wizardry as a 5th year, which is very unusual.
A 5th year.
So already there's a bit of an edge and a bit of a mystery.
The original story that we tell in the game is your story of what you did, in the Wizarding world that you haven't seen before.
Or make our own magic with our story we're trying to tell.
Fans are familiar with the Wizarding world from, the 1900s and on, really. But now, with this world, we're able to sort of create a space that's their own.
That's 100%. I think I said that to Dawson one day, talking to him, or somebody, I know for sure I was talking about this, and was like, they picked the 1800s not only because we haven't seen a whole lot, like we've heard of a few things from the 1800s, but we haven't seen or heard a whole lot, but that's a lot more freedom for them to write and create things that we haven't seen or heard of and stuff.
Will know that ancient magic has been around for a long time, to say the least, and that Hogwarts itself is a stronghold of ancient magic. And the Avatar, the player, has the ability to sense it and possibly wield it or control it.
Our process of development started.
You can race them? That's pretty
the
sick.
Books. And over development, we reread the books many times. Every time we'd start with a new feature, we'd dig into that. And then beyond, we would go into the films.
Being able to put our own spin on what this universe is was a pretty big deal. I helped design a piece that nobody has ever seen before, the Hufflepuff common room. As a Hufflepuff, you always wondered, like, what is my common room supposed to look like?
It's close enough to the world that we know that fans will recognize certain names, they'll recognize spells, they'll recognize certain locations.
I recognize that doorway, I recognize that classroom.
But mostly, it's going to be an entirely new Wizarding world that no one's ever experienced.
When people engage in the Wizarding world, what's the one?
I think they're finding a pretty good balance here with all of this, because a lot of the times when creating a game based on a book world or a video game world or something, like The Witcher or something like that, you kind of struggle with, which The Witcher didn't have a video game before, it didn't have a movie or a TV show to go on before the games. But when creating a game based on those things, if there's already a movie, then it's like, okay, if we venture too much into the world of the movies, then that's what people expect. So I like that they're 100% taking the idea of putting their own spin on a bunch of stuff, but also the world of Harry Potter and fans of Harry Potter are also going to be happy anyways, because they could make it look almost completely different. And generally, you could use the excuse of magic changing the way a lot of things look and stuff like that. So that's a pretty easy thing to fall back on, which is nice for the creators.
Anchor. Like, what's the thing that everyone comes back to? What's the thing that grounds it all and grounds all these characters and grounds all these figures? And for us, we really felt like that answer was Hogwarts itself. That school, that famous School of Witchcraft and Wizardry, is really what binds it all.
How to bring Hogwarts to life. That was a very big challenge because, as everybody knows, Hogwarts is huge.
Now we need to know exactly how this passage connects to this passage for a game, because you're gonna have to walk it.
And of course, again, the Sentient Castle, it's got new surprises up its sleeves. It likes to keep its students on its toes. We've put so many little secrets and passageways and rooms in this castle.
We recreate those very important locations, and then there's these other places that are only mentioned in the books or just alluded to, and we have to make the connective tissue that brings all of it together.
Adding a world that is a breathing, living world is very...
I want to look at that again. Hold on. Do you guys see that right here? Assuming this is in-game, it looks like a cinematic. It looks like a pre-rendered cinematic, but assuming that is in-game and it just looks, it's just a really good screen, like, cap right there. That's sick as hell, dude. Like, looking at this big little, almost peninsula type area over here that you can fly above and explore.
A breathing, living world is very hard to do because it's all about the details. And as a concept team, we really got into those details and studied history, studied architecture.
I hope that when fans play the game, they get as lost in it as I do. I can just be reviewing a side mission, and all of a sudden I find myself wandering Hogwarts for like 45 minutes because it's so beautiful.
The community. Man, I just want to take note real quick. Is this a year of great games or what, dude? It very much seems like, it looks... I want to explore that. Like, everything that it's shown us, even if I wasn't already knowledgeable on Harry... I don't want to say a fan, because I'm not a real big fan of Harry Potter, but even if I wasn't knowledgeable on Harry Potter stuff, I would want to explore this. Like, this world and stuff. And I've talked about it before, because I'm not a big fan of the story. I'm not a big fan of the writing, but I'm not a big fan of the story of Harry Potter and stuff like the main characters and stuff like that. They just don't entice me that much. But the world of Harry Potter, they don't build a whole lot on in the movies and stuff like that. And to be fair, through the first few books, J.K. Rowling's world building is not great. I'm not here to sit here and say, and butter anybody up, though, or kiss anybody's ass. I'm just telling it how it is. But this game really, really makes me curious. Like, really gets me interested in the world, and that's always the aspect that I've been curious about in Harry Potter, was the world. And so I really like that they seem like they're expanding on this.
Community is absolutely going to love Hogwarts Legacy.
It's gonna be so fun.
Get that letter to Hogwarts and go to Hogwarts.
We're so excited for people to come to this, to inhabit it, to actually enter the Hogwarts that we built. This is your Hogwarts legacy.
Notice how down below it said, Harry Potter 8 film collection stream on HBO Max, own on digital and Blu-ray. Real quick little promo there.
We truly hope you enjoyed the Hogwarts Legacy State of Play. Our team is so grateful for the excitement and for the passion that all of you bring to this. It's truly what fuels us. On behalf of our team at WB Games Avalanche, we want to thank you for being here today, and we'll see you at Hogwarts.
That's our show. We hope you're excited for the magic to come. See you next time.
Nice, dude. Yeah, I'm excited. Holiday 2022. Okay, so it is still technically supposed to come out this year.